Oh. Hi! So today I'm going to be reviewing a book that I've only just finished reading recently. It is The Shining by Stephen King. This is my copy of the book and it is so loved. It's pretty, okay? Look at the front cover, or the absence of a front cover. Okay, so for those of you who have not read this book, this story is about Jack Torrance, who is a recovering alcoholic with a lot of anger issues, who managed to get a job at the Overlook Hotel. So Jack, along with his wife Wendy and son Danny, are required to stay at the hotel for the whole duration of the winter. Aside from the prospect of the job, Jack also hoped that the isolated environment will help him finish his ongoing play. So Jack was previously a teacher and also a semi-accomplished writer on the side. Enter Danny, who is gifted with The Shining, a sort of telepathic ability that enables him to get inside people's heads and read their thoughts. Danny is also sensitive to his surroundings, especially that of which have strong supernatural nuances. So upon reaching the Overlook, Danny is immediately plagued with a lot of haunting figures who have lived there in the past, which stems off from the equally haunting past that the hotel itself has hosted. So this is pretty much the premise of the whole plot. So what I like about the book is that it's gripping when it wants to be, especially towards the last few chapters during the climax. Like, the elements of horror and suspense are so uncomfortably real, you can't help but get sucked into the story itself, you know? Character-wise, I absolutely freaking love Jack Torrance, man. I fucking love him. Okay, so throughout the book, Jack was suffering from emotional turmoil because he was caught between two halves. One that was craving to go back into his old drinking ways, and another one who was adamantly resisting because of the remorse he feels because of what he did to Danny in the past while he was under the influence. Jack also harbors a dark past that seemed to manifest themselves tenfold with the influence of the hotel. So because of all this, he was constantly in a tug of war between trying to stay sane and succumbing to his innermost carnal desires. There are times when you pity him, times when you actually love him, and there are times when you feel as if he's better off dead. This is the character that you can't hate 100% despite the fact that he is the antagonist, because Jack Torrance never intended to be an antagonist in the first place. He was sort of thrust into it because of the hotel. So his character has many depths, which I really appreciated because you can understand his true intentions in the midst of what he was going through. Also, I freaking love the style of writing, okay? Okay, so it was written about 40 years ago, right? So the phrases that are used is quite outdated, but he squeezed the accelerator like the breast of a much-loved woman. However, not all books are perfect, and this one is no exception. There were some elements of the book that I actually didn't very much like. The most prominent one being, it's so draggy. It's so draggy. It took me a while to finish this book because of how detailed everything was, and they all center on the characters' backstory. I suppose it's to make you feel for the characters and understand them better, but there are times when one fact is repeated so constantly throughout the whole book, I just felt it was redundant. I don't know, because there are some books that devote a few chapters solely for the character's backstory. In this one, it is used interchangeably between the past and the present. So it's kind of impossible for you to skip one or two passages without skipping a good chunk of the whole chapter or a good chunk of the story. That's how I feel like. Also, Wendy. Maybe I'm just not giving her enough credit. I don't dislike her per se, but I just didn't care much for her. I thought she was kind of annoying for a good part of the book, up until the last part when she leveled up and became a huge badass. But yeah, I didn't really care for her that much. That's it, really. That's it. So I gave this book a 3 out of 5 on Goodreads, only because there was no option to give it a 3.5. Nonetheless, I really did enjoy this book, especially when I was actually in the mood to read it. Those moments were insanely immersive. You really do feel as if you were in the actual book, experiencing the same horrors as Wendy and Danny Torrance are experiencing. I recommend this book to those of you who have a little bit of extra time on your hands, because This is not light reading. It's definitely one that you have to like sit down, open it up, and like really concentrate and get into it. And for those of you who want to get started on a Stephen King book, I do recommend this book as well, because it really does live up to the hype, and your expectations will not be met with disappointment. You will not be disappointed. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I didn't realize that I had my glasses on this whole time. I was supposed to take them off before I filmed, but hey. But yeah, that's it for now. How do I end this thing? Do I just... No. So this is pretty much the whole premise of the bird. Birds are making that noise. What you know? And there are times when you feel as if he's better off dead. Birds! Great. Why do I have so many hand gestures? Like, what do you want with this? What are you getting at? Huh?